This report is brought to you by LifeLock.
A few hiccups on our interstates as you make your way through the Mile High City. Earlier crash northbound I-25 just after the Colfax exit is still there on the highway. Stop and go speeds because of this wreck currently reach back to Santa Fe. And we're also still seeing some heavy congestion southbound I-225 in the Aurora area. Delays there exist from the I-25 interchange back to Parker Road. And on our side streets, we're also seeing a new accident westbound Arapahoe Road in the Centennial area. Those backups currently reach back.
What's that? It went down, so Mike, I just brought it back up. Still went down. Streaming. The last few days, did it go down? It dropped Facebook and YouTube.
With identity theft, what you can't see can hurt you. But LifeLock can actually see threats to your identity. Stuff you can miss by just monitoring your credit. If something happens, U.S.-based specialists can work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK to save 10%.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life.
Well, I love this.
Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Find out the true condition of your car with a free computer printout of all your major systems, the engine, tranny, electrical, brakes.
Oh, this is pretty smart. Kid Rock's going to start registering voters at this concert.
Wow. That's fine.
Well, he's running for Senate.
Annual Peace in the Streets
Michigan?
Film Festival is inviting
I don't know. I remember hearing something about it, but it looks like he's actually doing it.
in your own neighborhood and in the world. Do it on your own.
No.
Partner with friends and
No,
family.
Kid Rock
Show
for
us what peace means to
U.S.
you.
Senate. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, where though?
Senator Rock,
To showcase their film at the
or should we call you Kid?
PSGFF.com.
No, what state?
For more information and to submit, go to
I don't know.
PSGFF.com.
I've never been at a concert like this, but my brother said he puts on a great concert.
Yeah, I think he does put on a good show.
Get an experienced, aggressive attorney who can help you in both areas. Joseph A. Lazara, 303-429-6200.
He's definitely big-time Republican.
Lazara can help whether falsely accused or just plain stupid. Either way, you're entitled to a defense. Get the best. Make the right choice for criminal defense. Joseph A. Lazara.
Jeez, I don't know if I could vote for it.
That's 429-6200.
Jeez, I just don't know. I don't know. Well, he's got, when I say zero experience, I mean, like, he's got handlers, dude. He gets in fights at the fucking Waffle House all the time.
Who?
Kid Rock.
It happens.
By just monitoring your credit, you can miss a hidden threat, like someone getting a loan in your name, or someone feasting on your 401k.
I am least. Just good for the secret.
With LifeLock, you can see more. We detect a range of identity threats, even your info being for sale on the dark web. Have a problem? One of our U.S.-based specialists will work to fix it. Of course, no one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions of all businesses, but we'll help you see more of what's trying to sneak up on you. Join for 10% off at LifeLock.com and enter promo code LifeLock. LifeLock. More detection, more protection.
Brent Ivinson, Ideal Home Loans. Talk about how you can help home buyers.
Our Ideal Home Purchase Plan that is an all-encompassing roadmap to buying your next home. Our 3-week closing year.
It really doesn't say. Oh, here we go. Helping the working class people of Michigan. Yep.
That's very funny. They really nailed him. He really pushes Detroit and everything. And they just got on for Confederate flag. Who did? Yeah, and stuff. I mean, and
You're talking about Kid Rock?
Kid Rock, yeah.
He's not conservative, is he?
Oh, absolutely.
What?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, with DaVinci Roofscapes. DaVinciRoofscapes.com.
Absolutely, yes.
Home isn't just a place.
Maybe not as much as Ted Nugent.
Enjoy the things that matter most. ADT lets you take that feeling.
Ted Nugent, a little nice.
Whether you're at home, your business,
Someone emailed in that you should try Malware Bytes for Mac.
home automation, alarms, and surveillance. So you can feel at home wherever.
Oh, this lighting's nice.
Go to
What is that, Mark?
ADT.com
Malware Bytes
for less than
Okay.
$1 a day. ADT, home, safe home.
for your Mac. That can't get viruses, as I recall.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. So here's where we stand. Joseph A. Lazara, attorney at law. If you ever need one for self-defense of any kind, for criminal defense, and, just DUI, traffic, or accused of assault, battery, there's so many things that can happen in your life. People are just running around nuts, and everyone, it's just like there's more conflict now than ever. If you find yourself in a situation, Joe is at 303-429-6200. He's on the line now helping us out with this problem. Here's what happened. Lucinda was charged with a dangerous dog, misdemeanor 3, because her dog killed the neighbor's dog. And she had some stipulations that she had to do. She had to fix the fence, install a visible fence, and enroll a dog in training. She did that. She was in court for the reimbursement for the restitution hearing, and that's when things fell apart. Lucinda said everyone knew the dog was alive, but the judge found out through the hearing that the dog was still around, and this was a restitution hearing, mind you. They had already gone through the stipulations and the punishment, so to speak. This was for restitution. But when the judge found out the dog was alive, what did he do, Lucinda?
Then he took a recess, went to review the statute, and please take note that the statute that I plead for was, I guess, the wrong statute, or an older one, because they wanted to withdraw my guilty plea, and they have a different statute that they're trying to.
Who told you that it was the wrong statute?
Well, it's actually in the motion to withdraw the defendant's guilty plea. It identifies it there. And then they show that...
No, I'm asking... Okay, so the judge wanted you basically to withdraw your guilty plea and plead to another charge.
Correct.
Okay, and did you do that?
No, I've kept my plea in place because, number one, everything has been entered. Everything has been...
okay, so what are you calling about? If you kept your plea in place, you have your dog, why are you calling?
Because the DA is threatening if I do not plead to a lesser charge to cover up this snafu that they did, then they will put my dog down. They will go in there, they will withdraw my plea and either have the judge just say that dog's going to be euthanized, case over, or they would go ask for trial. Which
Joe, are they allowed to take back this plea agreement after it's been signed, though?
The confusing part about this is looking at her plea paperwork.
Right.
It's ambiguous. And one of the documents, the elemental charge, it has a statute number that does not exist. It's a non-existent statute. It obviously is old.
You mean the dangerous dog 18-whatever?
So on the first page where it says motion and the people to settle the plea, it has the correct statute. But then you go to the elemental page where it says what that charge entails.
Yes.
That is not an accurate statute.
All right, so what's your opinion of this in general? I mean, to me it sounds like...
It's an illegal plea.
It's what?
It's an illegal plea. And so the concern is, and this is what the court's...
But it's not her fault, is it?
It is not, no. And so the concern is down the road, she can file motions and attack it because it's illegal. The court, knowing that it's an illegal sentence, because 18, the subsection 3A requires that the dog be put down. And what they're basically doing is saying, hey, if we follow the statute as it's mandated, your dog has to be euthanized. We need to correct that. That's why the DA is filing the motion to withdraw the plea, enter into a new plea, wherein the dog, the same conditions that they previously agreed to can be fulfilled, and it's not an illegal sentence. So the confusing part, I think, the district attorney, the prosecutor in this case, was young, probably an intern, had never dealt with this.
So what happens?
Sure with it.
So what happens?
Yeah. So I think, she could persist. I think it's to her detriment. I would be of the opinion, and I'd be recommending to my client, let's withdraw the plea, let's work out a plea bargain that meets the terms and conditions as we understood them, without increasing.
Will they do that, Lucinda? What do they really want?
That's the whole point.
What do they really want?
they want to cover this up and me to plea something.
Lucinda,
so
I don't care about that. Here's what I care about. From switching pleas, here, if you could please hear me out. What effect would switching pleas have on you? I mean, is it more, what is the difference in your life? Are they taking your dog with the new plea?
No, they would let me keep my dog.
What would be the difference? That's all I want to hear between the old plea and the new plea as far as your life is concerned. What is the difference?
Well, with the new plea, they want me to put up a 6-foot fence all around. There's a 5-foot fence next to my neighbor, but the dog didn't jump.
I don't need any explanation. What I need is what they want. They want a 6-foot fence.
What they want.
What else?
They want to add on more things onto the original plea. And they want me to have 120 days probation.
Okay, 120 days. What else?
Razor fence.
We already said that. A 6-foot fence.
And pay that restitution.
You have to do that anyway.
All right. But they want me to plead to something that's not existing also.
Okay. I don't know if Joe can stick around, but, you know, I don't know what she can do. She's going to have to reach a plea agreement or go to trial. There's no two ways about it, Lucinda, because the one you signed was illegal.
Nothing is more important than your health. Hi, I'm Donnie, owner of Fitness Gallery, where we sell the world's finest fitness equipment, like true treadmills, bikes, and ellipticals, consistently rated the best in the industry.
You're right. He doesn't have to take the...
He can tell him to fuck off.
You're right. That agreement with the district attorney is a recommendation. You're absolutely right. But how often does that really happen?
Just happened to Don Eiley. Recommendation was 10 years, he got 12 and a half. Same exact thing. They do not have to listen to the DA. The judge can do whatever the fuck they want.
Save up to 40% off.
Wow, within the law.
Nationwide. Now is the time to invest in your health. Come in and visit one of our two.
It's kind of a big nothing burger. I don't know why she keeps, there's nothing she can do. She's going to end up getting her dog killed.
I think she's really pushing back on the fence.
Well, but what is she going to do?
I agree.
There's nothing she can do.
Check us out at fitnessgallery.com. Fitness Gallery.
She can go there and say, hey, listen, it didn't even jump the fence. Try to say, hey, this fence shouldn't be part of it. But you know what? If I was that fucking neighbor, I'd be livid. I'd be waiting for one of them to come on my property. I'd fucking shoot him.
$1,100 is what you got to pay for.
Dog jumps over and kills your dog. I'd be livid.
Some Democrats, like House Minority Leader Nancy.
Those kind of fucking dogs shouldn't be around, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Dogs shouldn't be there.
That's why.
Did she say what kind of dog
here's
it
the other
was?
thing. You know what you should ask her if she stays on? You know what your
You know it's a pit bull.
You know what your insurance is going to do?
It is? I don't know, but I bet it is. What other dog have you ever heard of that goes next door and kills another dog? It's always a pit bull.
A Pentagon official tells
only part pit bull.
It's possible, yeah. It's one of those. Well, it's a terrier, but and it's got a big head.
It's only some pit bull. No, but you know her insurance? Her insurance are going to drop her.
Oh, her homeowners?
Her homeowners. Does she want to even take
Unless she's paying the damages. In other words, no claim.
But she's got to report this to an insurance company. If you have a bite and you know your dog is dangerous,
I'm KFC.
That's a good question. And
technically, maybe, but who's going to fucking do that?
All they got to do is find out she just went for this dog. You know, you didn't say it was a dangerous dog. The insurance company.
I don't, Dan. Sometimes you say shit that I just don't get.
What did you say? I think the insurance, even though she's paying the claim, the insurance isn't.
If there's no claim, her insurance will go up.
Right. If their insurance company finds out about this, and she has another thing,
that's
they're
right.
drop her.
Right. That's right. If they find out about it.
Right, if they find out about it.
Well, that's what I said.
How would they find out about it?
Whether you file a claim or not, you're right, if they find out about it.
And so all they got to do is have another thing with that dog happening, and they said, "Whoa, you had this from before."
Just that happening, they'd drop her. Right. But how would they ever know? Is all I'm saying.
Say she bit a kid, and they sued her and stuff, and they said, "Wow, this thing 3 months ago killed another dog, considered a dangerous dog. We're not going to cover this. You didn't tell us this was a dangerous dog."
I don't think it works that way. They'd have to drop her. So you're saying in the policy it has language that they could get rid of, they could drop someone even though.
Because she knew.
God, I'd never buy homeowners. There'd be no purpose.
But she knew because your dogs haven't attacked and killed another dog. You weren't charged with it.
Well, correct. But even if they did, if I didn't have a claim on it,
that's like hiding something that you had. hail damage here.
Do you realize most people where their insurance is built into a mortgage don't even fucking know about renewals and shit? They simply pay their mortgage payment. I don't even know where the average Joe would fucking even know.
Know about what, Mark?
Home insurance.
What do you mean, like, know about it? What do you mean?
Well, most people pay it with inside their mortgage, correct?
Yes.
And they never do renewals because they're automatically through the fucking,
Yeah, you know what?
they
I
don't
right
even
now, though,
think about it.
No, I think a lot of people nowadays, like with our insurance checkups and stuff, I think there are a lot of people that want to save money on their homeowners, Mark.
It's got nothing to do with saving money on it. We're talking about this. Yes, if I have the opportunity to save money, I might make the call. If your dog kills another dog, are you calling your insurance company and telling them, hey, my dog just fucking...
of course not.
Okay, so how would they ever know? And if they did know...
Well, what does that have to do with saying people don't care about
their insurance? Saying that a year from now, it's got nothing to do with it. You're picking up like 1/50th of the conversation. A year from now, that same dog, remember, there's no claim, insurance company doesn't know about it.
Right.
A year from them, that same dog kills a kid. He's saying they're not going to cover the policy then because you should have reported about the dog.
You have a dangerous
That's
dog.
a possibility. They can contest it.
And my point wasn't why even buy insurance then.
No, Mark. No, I'm saying if they found out you lied or did not report something you're supposed to report, insurance companies all the time.
Then I go back to my same point. Your average Joe doesn't know if there's not a claim. You're supposed to call up and report something.
But whether they know it or not, they're supposed to. And if they don't, they could be held in breach.
I'd love to talk to Brian about that.
That's a good question. That's
Mark,
my understanding, for example...
It never happened, because how would they find out? How would they find out?
Investigator.
You know what? I got an email question. We need Brian on. Brian Burns from Compass.
It's like...
I know exactly what to ask.
Some people can't...
There's no right or wrong here. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that insurance companies look for any reason they can to contest a claim.
Here would be my example. If I buy my house, and they say, do you have a trampoline? And I don't have a trampoline, and I say, no, I don't. And 6 months later, I buy a fucking trampoline. I'm still fucking covered for that trampoline.
Right.
End period of story. I didn't lie. I didn't do any shit.
Right.
Nor do I got to call them up and say, hey, guess what? I bought a trampoline.
I don't think you do.
I know I don't.
If it says you do, and you don't, I don't know if it says that, Mark. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I've not read it.
Can you imagine the language in there? If your life changes at all, you need to call us and tell us.
I know it sounds crazy.
Insurance would be, there'd be no purpose in it.
Well, I'm telling you.
You didn't tell us there was a possibility there could be hail in Franktown.
That's how we're talking. That's a total different thing. Now you're jumping on a total different course.
Let's just talk about contestability. It's a good topic. It's a great topic.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying I can't imagine that. And in Colorado, that dog you killed is just a piece of property, man. That's all it is. There's nothing else to it. If it was a mutt, it might be worth $13.
Right.
If it's not a mutt, a child, I mean, talk about making a leap. That's a big leap.
Well, technically, though, now that's even changing a little as far as their value.
Yeah.
It's changed. The law has
Depending on the
changed.
judge.
But it's still property.
Yeah, it is.
Depending on the judge.
But no, it depends on precedent, which is common law. And this one animal rights attorney has been...
Now, Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around.
Hi, Tom Martino, your Troubleshooter. Welcome to the show. I'm a consumer advocate. You can read all about us at referralist.com, troubleshooter.com. We're on Facebook and YouTube live right now on both of those places, plus referralist.com. Listen, man, we have a lot going on. We solve problems, answer questions. If you're new to town, thank you. Spread the word about the show to get help anywhere in the country, 24/7, 303-MARTINO. And don't forget referralist.com. Now, I know Lucinda's waiting, but a lot of people have been waiting. I'll go back to Lucinda. We got some information from Joe that may help her. Richard has a comment on electronic devices. I was lamenting today because I'm going through a period of activity, I call it, where a lot of things go wrong electronically, with computers, and technically with me, and it seems like they come in spurts, and things happen. Things fail. I get kind of weird reactions. Software doesn't work. Electronics start screwing up around me. What did you have to say about that, Richard?
Watches do the same thing with me. With the old wind-up ones, I'd end up magnetizing them within a month.
So really, when you wear a watch, you end up ruining it.
Yes, and then once they came out with the digital ones, I figured, oh, let me try those. And within 2 months, they would sit there, start flipping between date and time, and
I've never had a mechanical watch problem, but electronic or electric watches, forget it. So have you ever figured out why it's happening?
This ranks up there with chemtrails and not landing on the moon.
Now, I truly don't, Mark, I don't believe in chemtrails. I mean, there are trails out of jets. They're not, it's not some vast conspiracy to spoil, to poison the population and all that. I'm with you on that, Mark. And I swear to you, if I wasn't experiencing this with electronics, I would say to you the guy's nuts. But I'm not nuts. I experience this failure and these what do you call them? Gremlins, these things going on with me. Why? Why? And Suzanne, you've known me long enough over the years to know that things happen to me that happen to no one else.
That's right.
Things can be working. They can be working perfectly for everyone, and I come up and try it, and it fails. I'm not saying all the time, Mark, but I don't think like the chemtrail thing, I don't think this is something people are making up or imagining if it's happening. Joe, what about you?
Well, I used to measure electromagnetic fields for over a decade, and I used to have this similar problem. And what it is that your body is not discharging the electricity. I used to come home at the end of the day measuring houses near power lines, and I'd have a 2-inch arc come off my finger. So the cure for this is actually taking a salt bath, a sitz bath, because what it does, it attracts the positive charge from the body. Or if you have it during the day, you can get like a glass bottle and put 4 or 5 tablespoons of salt in it and just hold on to it, and your body will discharge.
You should try it,
Mark,
Tom.
now, Mark, are you going to make fun of me if I take a salt bath?
I can't even contain myself. He's going to go home, hop in a salt bath.
So what do I do, Joe?
And then his browser's going to start working.
A hot salt bath for my browser.
It's warm water, and you put 1 pound of kosher, Diamond Rock kosher salt and a half a cup of baking soda to neutralize it.
And bam, your passwords will start working.
Let's do
Tom,
it.
try it.
I'll try it. Okay. I want to go back to Lucinda.
Hold on, Dan, you're over there. Please. Am I insane? Or is his password reset going to start working after the salt bath?
Mark, I didn't say it was. Don't put words in my mouth. What I said was I was having a problem with glitches in my life. This gentleman called and said it's because I am positively charged and I need to take a salt bath.
He said you were handsome, too.
Okay. Now, Lucinda was charged, and now here's what we found out. No matter what deal a district attorney makes with you, signed, sealed, delivered, it can be rescinded by the judge. That's absolute, that's a positive, it's positive, okay? What I mean is, it doesn't matter, Lucinda, if you pled to an old law, a new law, this law, that law. It doesn't matter. A judge has the right to say, I'm not going to take the deal and make a new one. And you have a right to say, no, I'm not going to take the deal. Let's go to court on the original case, which you you might win. So that's where we stand. Okay, so your dog, you pleaded, you have a plea deal, you did all the stipulations, all you were doing is going to court for restitution, and the judge says, no, we're not going to accept the plea. We want you to plead to this charge instead, and this is how much you have to pay, and you also have to do some additional stuff like a 6-foot fence, and you have to do probation. Lucinda, I understand your feeling. You're thinking like, wow, they already made a deal with me and they're changing it. But it's true. The judge can can reject any kind of deal he wants.
I understand that, and I'm not arguing that, but the plea that they set forth, for me to look at, that was the wrong resolution too.
That's correct, Lucinda.
Why is it the wrong? I just want one thing at a time. You're saying the new deal is also wrong. Why?
Because it was repealed in 1998.
What was repealed in 1998?
Now they want me to plead to a vicious dog under control. And they stated on the plea agreement the wrong resolution. It has been repealed, and there's a new one that replaces that. So now it's twice that they've screwed up.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be sitting there again after this 120 days.
No, you're not,
if I was
Lucinda.
free.
This is what Joe said.
Okay,
Joe
listen.
said you're probably dealing with a young prosecutor. Your attorney just needs to educate the prosecutor that it's the wrong statute and to change it to the right one.
3 DAs are now on this in Douglas
Okay.
County.
Well, Lucinda,
So they
here's
know
the deal,
that
though.
they've screwed up, and
Here's
I'm
the deal.
still
If
sitting here.
if the judge signs off on it, then it's a done deal. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. If the judge agrees to these stipulations, the problem you had before is that the judge did not sign it. It was proposed to him, and he rejected
it.
Yeah, but under that first statute, your
He
dog
didn't
would be euthanized,
No,
Lucinda.
he did sign it, but then what happened was, at the restitution hearing, he figured out it was wrong. Right?
The new judge did. There was a different judge for the restitution
Because my
hearing.
judge
But
was,
under the first
vacated.
statute, Lucinda, your dog is supposed to be euthanized. They're trying to save your dog.
Okay, so hold on. So technically, if a judge signed it, without an appeal, that second judge cannot undo it unless she voluntarily does it.
That's what they're asking her to do, and if she
They're
doesn't, they're
asking her
going
to do it,
get
or her dog
Lucinda,
is euthanized.
here's the deal. You don't have, if that judge, I didn't realize the judge signed the first one. If he signed the first stipulation, it's done. I don't care what they say, it's done. They have to appeal, and prosecutors don't appeal, only defendants do.
But then they have to euthanize her dog as well.
Of course they do. Of course they do. That is the first stipulation. That would be what it is. So, Lucinda, you have a choice to either stick to the first one or negotiate a second one. Whatever one they're proposing, if it's wrong, just have your attorney just say, look, we'll stipulate to some new stips, but we need the right law.
Hey, what kind of dog was it, and what happened? Did it jump the fence? Did it dig under? What happened?
It was, and this is another
I don't
thing,
want to retry the. I don't want to retry the whole damn thing.
I just want to know what happened.
All right, but she's going to say why she's not guilty. I don't want to get into it. But what kind of dog is it?
My dog is a German Shepherd.
Okay.
Very low key. And another thing, my neighbor's a deputy sheriff.
Okay.
So he's getting preference.
Listen, I don't want to get I don't want to get into the trial part. It's already done. I understand you feel like he got preferential treatment, the judge was bought off or whatever, and I don't want to get into that. You know what I mean. Everyone who disagrees with a case will have a reason, and it's always something is unfair, and I can't tell you how many times.
It's called incompetency.
Okay. Well, here's the deal.
Somebody to address that.
Here's the deal, though. Here's the black and white. You have agreed, and it's been signed by the court, to a stipulation. If you want to keep that in place, you have a right to keep it in place, but under that statute, your dog will be euthanized. Or you can...
Not to 189204.5.
Okay, Lucinda, go quote your number somewhere else, okay? Here's the bottom line. You agreed to something that allows them to euthanize your dog. Like it or not, you did. Okay? You did. And now they are offering you another plea. If you don't want to take it, you don't have to. Hasn't your judge told you that? I mean, your attorney, didn't your attorney tell you that? You either take it or don't. You don't have to take take it. But why do you think? Why do you think? Why do you think you're going to change? Okay, you can go to court on the original trial. No, you can't, because you already have a standing stipulation signed by the courts. Okay, exactly. So you can go by the original stipulation, and your dog will be euthanized. You're not going to stop that.
They just accepted all of that. How can they euthanize it when it's already been signed off, and the people accept that this dog is not drained, because she's not.
Okay.
So
I'm not saying she is.
Everything,
Lucinda,
I have everything that from that.
The law
now
said.
They're going to turn around and
that's right.
take all that away.
That's right. That's what the law says. I'm really tired. I'm really tired of the people have no objection to the defendant getting her dog back from the Dumb Friends League. Was this signed by the judge?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then he put that in there. The original judge said you could keep your dog, and now the new judge is threatening to euthanize it.
No, I think the DA is.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm curious, if Joe or someone could tell us if the original judge actually signed off on everything.
She can't. Lucinda, I would ignore. I mean, I'm not giving you legal advice here, but you have everything in writing signed by the judge. You're sure the judge signed this?
Well, yes, the judge signed on everything.
Well, then I don't see how they can resurrect it at all. I just don't see how it's possible.
They want to set it straight because it looks bad upon the DA.
Well, you know what? That's
it.
too bad, Lucinda. That's double jeopardy. They can't charge you again.
That's what
it's
we try
over.
to say, too.
Well, you know, don't try to say it. It's a damn courtroom. I mean, there are rules.
Maybe Fuller would know, too. I mean, maybe they can change it. I don't know.
Fuller doesn't. I already asked him.
And listen, then I want to call another defense attorney. Only because I want... What did Joe actually say? I don't think we told Joe it was signed by a judge the first time.
I don't think we did either.
I don't think we did.
I sent him the paperwork.
Yeah,
I
but
assumed
it's not
he
clear.
knew. He's
It's
in
not
a
clear.
meeting now.
No, he thought it was an agreement.
We might have to follow up again.
He thought it was a negotiation.
You know, if everybody involved took a salt bath, maybe all this would go away.
He's right about that. Hold on. You know, I'm not going to keep doing this, so people, I will take your other calls in between, I promise you. But truly... Lucinda does have a case here. This is signed by the judge. I did not realize that it said, point blank, that the people have no objection to the defendant getting the dog back. I would like to get a comment from George Brockler's office, the district attorney. Now, George, he's not a bad guy. I don't even know if he knows about the case, but here's the deal with George. He will either talk or not. If they're not allowed to talk because it's still happening, I don't know. But ask. Ask that office to comment, give them the case number, because this is a case I can't believe. That's like being convicted and doing everything, and then all of a sudden they say, no, we have to do this over. Okay. You can't do it over. She has a right, and I think they're trying to push it through, and they know they can't prosecute her again.
What it says is once the judge accepts the defendant's guilty or no contest plea and enters a conviction, that judge can't later overturn the plea agreement.
And neither can another judge unless it's appealed.
However, when the parties agree upon a negotiated plea that requires the defendant to perform certain conditions, it's just saying if she didn't do the fencing.
I know it, and I'm telling you, Mark, she's getting
Well, what happens if it's not an actual rule, though? In this case, it's not an actual law. So she pled guilty to something that's not even...
It wasn't on the book. Well, no, it was old. It was on the book.
So what does that mean, though?
Was it old or no longer on the book?
If it's no... Well,
Joe
looked it up.
Joe's standing was, since it was an illegal and inconsistent plea, it can't be enforced.
He didn't realize we're talking two different judges.
No, but he did realize, I think, because he said it was illegal, it can't be enforced. He said it was illegal, remember?
Then it is kind of weird about double jeopardy.
And they say, Tom, who should I call? And I say, John Fuller, Fuller Law. John Fuller has seen all kinds of cases on personal injury. And how much time do I have, bro? Assessment of that case. Personal injury.
3.5.
About the other side will always try to minimize your claim. The other side will always try to make you box up. You need someone who will fight
Just
for
relax.
you. If it's someone else's
Take
fault,
a salt
you should
bath.
be paid. I mean, after all, if you broke someone's window,
I know you don't believe that. I do believe there is electrical
it's not something you can ever do on your own.
I think if you're working on power lines like that caller did all day, well, fuck yeah, there could be some shit going on. But it's got nothing to do with resetting passwords and the issues Tom's been having.
That part, I agree.
Nor in a million years, even nor is he going to walk up to a stoplight and fucking change.
Okay, let's do this. That's long.
I'll even give him 10 stoplights. We could go to 10 different ones.
Because he said 90%.
90%. And I'll even flip-flop it. If it happens 1 out of 10.
Not a stoplight.
I thought what he was going to say is, it'll change from red to green. And I'm thinking, well, no shit. I bet it goes to yellow, too.
He goes, see? Actually, he didn't say stoplights. He said street lights.
Oh, he did say street light, which is even better. Like it's going to go out. Oh, wait. No, he'll be right there at dawn.
KFC's extra crispy.
He gets to pick the time.
Exactly. We'll meet you there this time. Oh, that's pretty good.
Because my extra crispy $20.
Do it. That's a great lunch bet.
8 pieces of
I know we're not supposed to do lunch bets.
crispy chicken, 4 biscuits, 2 orders of mashed potatoes, and a side of coleslaw for just $20. That'll feed them. KFC is extra crispy good. Pricing and participation may vary. Tax and
You didn't see any more of
Time
these
to
things.
talk about ideal home loans for your next ideal home loan. No two loans are
Must be in the trash, man. Where else would it be?
That's for you. In other words, if you want a loan that's 13 years, 23 years, 15 years, 27 years.
So you got to use logic.
What's going on, bro?
He couldn't find that little styrofoam thing, so logically, where would it be? Exactly.
Don't
you notice the difference with these not being fluorescent? I don't, honestly. I don't. To me, it's either bright or not.
No, but I mean, it doesn't have that. I don't know how to explain the flickering. That's exactly right.
And some, sometimes they have sound.
You don't notice that, right? But I do because I need a salt bath. Once I get my salt bath,
Then we'll put these back.
And he has a recipe down pat. He's like, that's 1/2 cup of Epsom salt, and 2 teaspoons of sea salt, natural from the coast of Africa.
But Drew also doesn't like fluorescent. He needs a salt bath.
There was somewhere in this building where this worked really well. Making sure that all
God, why after all these years you don't switch? My AT&T is 4 bar. Everything is perfect in this building.
Mark, what about, would I get a good deal if I switch?
They're pretty good. They have all you can eat too. Do you go over in minutes?
Yeah.
See, I just get the all you can
Okay,
eat.
how much?
How many phones are on your account?
Suzanne, we need to analyze our cell account and maybe switch. Don't go nuts, but I'm thinking about an iPhone, or would I be disappointed?
I was going to tell you to kill my work phone. It's a waste of your money.
Yep. Okay, or we can maybe use it as a burner or something. Maybe we should. We'll talk about that. But you know what we need to do, Suzanne? We need to maybe look at another carrier too.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. Man, are we busy. I'm going to go to some other calls. Sabrina has been waiting a long time, and it's important. Then I'll go back to Lucinda. We have some ideas for her. Sabrina, and we're trying to get some other opinions, too. Sabrina, what's happening?
So I live in the Creekstone Apartments.
Yes.
And they are, on June 10th, I had happened to be putting in a different washer and dryer and taking out my old one when the pipe had broke and it caused flooding. So when that had happened, I had panicked. Of course.
Okay, so hold on, Sabrina. How did the pipe break? Which pipe broke?
It was the main pipe that you connect the hose to the washer.
So you were connecting it, or was someone else?
I was disconnecting it.
And it broke?
And it broke.
But okay, where did it break? Because there's a valve on it.
Sounds like she didn't turn the water off.
Well, why would that? Wait a minute. What do you mean?
It broke above the valve.
It broke above the valve.
Right.
Why would a pipe break like that?
I was just using my pliers to take off my hose.
But there wouldn't be anything wrong with using pliers to unscrew that. I mean, that shouldn't break the pipe. What do you think, Dan? That shouldn't break it.
Remember, she just took the pliers and turned that without holding.
Turn what?
Turning the hose off.
Are the pipes secured to the wall?
They're supposed to be, but they were really.
I know what.
But she caused the damage, so who cares, right?
No, I understand. You're right, but let's just say it was a neglect thing, and the pipes were really,
rusty, whatever.
Yeah, corroded. But they don't normally get corroded. So, Sabrina, you did cause it, and if you don't have renter's insurance, you're in trouble.
Right, and it wasn't a mandatory for these apartments. I know usually for the other apartments I had lived in the past, yes, it was mandatory before I even moved in, but it was optional. So no, wait. I did not have renter's insurance.
So, okay. Oh. How much are they trying to get you for?
$4,635.55.
Yeah, so this is a number of apartments that got damaged, right?
Yes, and
you do understand, seriously. Now, I want to get serious here. You do understand you probably will be held responsible for it.
Correct, which they are holding me responsible. And
what about, okay, And so I don't know how much you make. I don't know anything about you, but you may need a bankruptcy. And I'm serious. When a serious loss happens,
could be worse. Is this? Do you have Section 8? Is it subsidized?
It says I'm not on Section 8 or anything.
Okay.
But it is they call it affordable apartment.
Okay. Yeah, I'm reading about it. It is subsidized, and I don't know what's in that agreement.
Oh, you mean the apartment complex is subsidized?
Yes.
Well, do you get government money?
I do for children only. I get TANF for children only. I am a single grandmother raising.
You had to qualify to get into this apartment at that cost. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
Lucinda, you may be kicked out if you can't pay it. I don't know what to tell you. You have to tell them the truth. You don't have the money, okay?
I did. I asked them.
And what did they say?
Well, they're asking me to make 6 months of payments of $662.22.
Okay. Now, first of all, you may have to do a bankruptcy. And I don't know how. I don't think they can kick you out for bankruptcy because it's legal. In other words, it's not like, I know it sounds crazy, but it's not like...
They couldn't kick her out for that, but I'm assuming they could kick her out for the damage that she's not paying for. It's all going to come back down to that, I believe.
But it was because of their lack of response. This is the reason why...
What do you mean lack of response? What do you mean?
Yes, because when I told them that I was willing to pay for the pipe that was broken and the damage in my apartment. But because of the other damages in other apartments, it was because of their lack of response.
Okay, well, wait a minute. That is a bit of an argument. It's called mitigation. When you say lack of response, Sabrina, how long did it take them to respond?
When that happened, I had called the office several times. No one answered.
Okay, was the water just streaming out?
Yes, it was. And I was throwing towels, wringing them out, throwing them back on the floor, wringing them out, throwing them back on the floor because I did not have...
Wouldn't she have the responsibility to call a plumber at this point or call someone if she can't... My point is she didn't mitigate it very well.
Well, she called the management. That's all she could do is call them to turn the water off.
I found out that there was only one person working in that office.
So what happens if it happens, and this is a little outside, what happens if it happens in the middle of the night?
My brother and his friend to that office to see if they were, if someone was there. It was closed. There was no one in that office.
Sabrina, they should have an emergency number, and if they don't...
I called the emergency number, no one responded right away.
Now, Sabrina, when you say right away, when did they respond?
I called the emergency number after several times calling the office and no one answered.
Listen
so
carefully.
They didn't respond
Sabrina,
until almost 45 minutes.
Calm down. I'm on your side. Okay, but you did cause it, not intentionally, but listen to this reasoning, Mark. Listen to this. Even if she did cause it, truly, if they don't have anyone monitoring the emergency line, and if she tried to contact all of these people, that call to the emergency line will be on her phone. And I'm telling you, they will have some responsibility for not mitigating or not turning off the water quick enough. She can claim, look, yes, I caused the damage, but I did everything in my power to get it taken care of, and they did not answer. Sabrina, you have a very good argument. Now, you are going to be responsible for something.
So how did the water, hold on, let's go down the road a little. When did the water get turned off?
How long was it running? Yeah, how long was it running in total?
It was running, I would say, a good 30 minutes, 25, 30
that's
minutes.
Unreasonable.
I'm going, that's unreasonable. She breaks something, it leaks everywhere, and someone's supposed to respond quicker than 30 minutes.
Mark, she's calling an emergency line. They have a responsibility. Yes, they do, Mark. They do. I mean, she doesn't know where to turn the water off.
How quick should it be then?
Well,
30 minutes?
It should be quicker. Or if they, let's say if they didn't answer at all, they should answer immediately. And then once they answer, they could say this: okay, Sabrina, here is where the turnoff is, or we will page someone, or we will do this. But she said they responded in 30 minutes. So when did you actually talk to someone Not when they respond, but when did you actually talk to someone? You were calling. Did someone show up in 30 minutes? What happened in 30 minutes?
No, it so happened that some neighbors of mine upstairs came down. They seen me panicking.
And what did they do?
Going on. I so happened to catch the young man that was supposed to be working in the office. I caught him.
And what did he do?
Out of the apartment in front of me, and I let him know the situation.
And what did he do?
In calmly. He didn't know where the main water valve shut off was either. So
he didn't even know.
He had to call the main maintenance guy, and therefore the maintenance guy is the one who let him know where it was at. So then he shut it off.
Look. You have a good argument not to get out of it, but certainly they did not respond to that emergency line, which they should have. And I'm telling you that you have a reasonable argument. But here's the problem, Sabrina. They're going to sue you. Here's what you have to tell them. I respectfully declined to pay the whole thing because I believe that you did not mitigate this properly. No one answered the emergency line. No one did this. No one did that. And say, look, I am willing to take it to court if you want to take me to court. Because, Sabrina, your argument, exactly the way you told me, you don't even need an attorney to give the argument.
It goes so much deeper, though. And forget about what you're just talking about. The problem with her answering that way is she's going to basically be blacklisted from getting a cheap apartment.
I don't know if she will. If she says, I don't think I'm responsible for the whole thing, they may negotiate. And then the truth is, you should do a bankruptcy, and you should talk with them. But first, try to negotiate something. By the way, winkandwink.com, this is what it's made for. This woman is a grandma raising her kids. This is like a life sentence for her. She can't pay that. 303-410-1720 is Wink and Wink. Mike and Gigi Wink. They're great people. They'll talk to you about this to tell you when you should do it or if you should do it. Winkandwink.com. When you need, you don't know where else to turn, and they're coming after you. 303-410-1720.
I mean, an emergency line, if they did not answer that, Mark, that is a major deal.
I don't think any apartments answer the emergency line.
Holy crap. Don't you agree, Dan?
I totally
disagree. The emergency line.
Well,
I'm not talking
about... You call them two places, the office and the office people didn't know how to shut the water off.
Yeah, no,
to me.
They didn't. She called the office. They weren't there.
No.
The guy she found in the hallway.
The reality is the water got turned off in a half hour.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a long time for water.
Well, I'm not saying it's not a long
minutes
time.
Is a long
but
time.
I can't imagine if I break something in someone else's place and they fix it in a half hour, that's going to be their problem.
No, it's not. She's responsible, but she's not responsible. Mark, you know why. Like, for example, let's say...
But we're talking a half hour. Yes, if the damage went on for 3 days...
I think 30 minutes for running water is unreasonable. I think if you have an emergency line, if you called the emergency line and they answered right away, but they couldn't get someone quick enough, they would have a better argument than not answering. That was the problem. They did not even answer the emergency line. That will be her biggest strength right there. I mean, I'm telling you. Had they answered and said, well, we'll have someone over there right away, and it took a half hour to get someone there, that's different. But she happened to find somebody who then found somebody to turn it off. She did everything she could to mitigate. They did nothing. They did nothing. Because the emergency line is just for that reason.
I just see it so different. I see a half hour is almost no time at all.
Mark, if I ran into a gas tank or something, and there's an emergency line, and I call that and they don't answer, and that whole fucking place burns down, I guarantee you, I mean, I'll call it that, but if there was a place they could have turned off that pump or something, and it would have isolated the pump somehow.
Yeah, but generally that's a great thing, because generally your call would be to 911. Generally, that's who you would call if you hit a gas line.
Right. But you don't do that with...
And then the fire department would be out, and they would get the area done.
Yeah, but
she didn't call a plumber. She didn't call shit.
Mark, calling a plumber to turn off that water would have taken hours. I mean, no one's going to come around. If you called any plumber and said, my water's running...
Okay, then follow me down the road. What would these people have done if they called her? You're saying if they got right through, they could have sent someone over from wherever that person was to turn it off.
Well, technically, that's right. The guy that was on the desk, that's another negligent thing. He did not know where the water turn-off was. Right. Mark, That is just fucking negligence. I swear to God. They were not prepared for this. And
well, I'm never getting in the fucking landlord business.
No, I'm telling you, she's responsible for most of it. But Mark, there is a good chance. I mean, if this, for example, if the guy was in the office like he should have been, or when she told him, he still didn't turn it off. He had to find somebody. She found him in 15 minutes, and it still took another 15 minutes. I'm telling you that.
But if she never did any of this, if she didn't create the issue, none of this other shit would exist.
Of course, that's right. But that's just like if I wreck your car, and it has 100,000 miles on it, and it's in perfect condition, it doesn't fucking matter. If you have a car with 100,000 miles, depreciation is an unfair concept if you can't afford the betterment. If you can't afford it, I've always thought it's unfair. I never needed a car before. Now I need one because you wrecked my car.
I bet it talks about in the lease exactly what we're talking about. What else if it says in the lease, don't fuck with our pipes? Oh, seriously. Don't try to swap out a washer and dryer.
Okay. You must call. Absolutely. But still, I'm telling you, mitigation of damages is a responsibility, especially when you're dealing with the public. It is such a responsibility. It's an amazing thing how people lose thousands of dollars thinking, fuck this, I'm going to get a new house. I mean, you have to do everything you can to stop further damage.
I'm just saying, most apartment complexes,
you got to do what's
reasonable.
That's right.
If I call any emergency line in an apartment, any apartment I've ever lived in, the emergency line, you simply leave a fucking message. I mean, I just don't find this abnormal at all. I just don't.
No, it's not, except when shit happens, it is. I'm telling you, it is not abnormal.
The other thing, it took a long time to come and clean it up.
God, I'd hate to be a fucking landlord.
Well, I mean, why not tell everybody where the main water line is? I mean, everybody should know that.
They might say it's right in our lease what to do if there's a water leak. You didn't do it. What happens if that's in there? Maybe they literally do tell people where it is, but she didn't read her lease.
For sure possible.
Oh, then you're right. Well, all of that. But Mark, that's like, obviously, but that's not part of the discussion.
Sure.
She needs to take a salt bath.
I'm Tom Martino. All About Bathrooms. If you're looking for a bathroom, All About Bathrooms is a place. I'm telling you, these are great people. I love the way they do work. They let you go out and buy all the stuff on their wholesale account from their vendors, and then they come and install it. They help you design it, then they help you shop for all of that on their wholesale account, no markups, and then they do the labor. It's great. You get the design and the labor and all of it at wholesale pricing. All About Bathrooms for upscale, beautiful bathrooms from Cherry Hills, Bellevue, South to Highlands Ranch. They don't work the north area, so it's Bellevue and South, but Highlands Ranch, Parker. You can go to all of the subdivisions near Bellevue, east and west of I-25. It's All About Bathrooms, 720-524-7546, 720-524-7446. They're on my referral list, too, All About Bathrooms. Hey, so we have so much to talk about. And what was the question we had for Compass? What one was it, Suzanne? What did we have?
Whether or not we were talking about the dog if it killed a kid about 3 months later.
Oh, you're right about that. That was an email. That's why I didn't recall the phone call. Thank you, Mark. Jeremy, we have a very interesting email question, okay?
Okay.
Now, I always talk about contestability and how insurance companies look for excuses not to cover, but I've never actually heard of one. But we have this email that's interesting. If a guy has a dog and he doesn't report an incident that happened where the dog killed the neighbor's dog, okay? It killed the neighbor's dog, and the neighbor wanted to sue them and all that, but they settled. But he never contacted his insurance company. And then 6 months after that, the dog kills a little kid or maims a little kid. Would the insurance company, if they found out about that incident, doing an investigation, would they have a reason not to cover? Was that the question?
That you put it perfectly, but one thing, and it's not an illegal dog. In other words, it's a dog that's not, it's not banned from the policy in the first place.
Based on what you guys are saying, it would be if it's, you know, eligible, the breed of the dog's eligible, they disclose the dog, something happened, they didn't make the insurance company aware, I would feel, you know, based on my knowledge, it would be hard-pressed for them to try and decline it.
Okay, so they're not required to tell people about to tell their insurance company about incidents.
Well, it gets a little tricky because where the requirement typically comes from would be on the first claim, because they do have a diligence to, or a responsibility to tell the insurance company if they're looking for legal representation. The insurance company...
But they weren't looking, in this case,
right,
they weren't looking for it.
Which makes it a really unique question.
It's weird, isn't it?
That's
yeah.
rare. Right. Normally, we would tell someone, you really got to tell the insurance company, because they're going to want to get the defense ready. They want to make sure the insured doesn't do too much damage to their case.
Now, you're right, Jeremy. Money. You're right. I can see where they found out about it, but technically they can't turn down the claim because the dog's not illegal or anything like that. I had a case one time with health insurance where a woman did not disclose something in her health record, and they didn't cover an illness afterwards, even though the illness was only loosely connected, but they found a reason to contest it. And I think that health insurance is way more devious than homeowners. But we have another homeowner's question, too, that came out of this, okay? And this was Mark's question. He said, okay, let's say I don't have a trampoline, and 6 months after I get this policy, we buy a trampoline. And somebody gets hurt on the trampoline. What about that? Are you required to tell your insurer about changes like that?
Yeah, I think you are in that case. The problem is a lot of times people don't, and what happens is they're just going to
Well, no one knows. No one knows.
I mean, they're going to end up covering it, right?
I would typically say that would be the expectation.
So, in most cases, are you saying with homeowners insurance? Because my line is, insurance companies always look for reasons to contest claims. But you're saying that's not so much when it comes to homes.
Well, I think you know, if you have a trampoline, you know the insurance company doesn't take it, so you take it down for 2 months, you sign up for a new policy, and you put it back up. Is certainly a different scenario than
buying
you legitimately never owned one. You bought one 6 months after the policy and didn't have the wherewithal to remember to tell your insurance agent. Those would be two different things. And I think what I would, you know, hope for with the insurance company is in the second option, they would understand that. And I would make a strong argument on that one. If it's more devious where someone's taking it down for a month or two to get around it, you know, I would want the insurance company to, you know, have some say on that end.
What about just lying to your insurance company about pit bulls or about a trampoline or about anything? Is that a contestable item?
It is. And that's, you know, that's kind of our pitch to people, is that there is no issue.
So lying, Mark, is different. Lying. But omitting it is not, like when you go to buy one.
Or not reporting it, yeah.
Well, and the problem with it is people just don't realize that, you know, a trampoline is an issue to one company and it's not another. So whatever that unique situation is, trying to get around it with one specific insurance company is certainly going to cause you more problems in the long run than just working with insurance companies that it's acceptable with.
But, Brian, to clarify, the question they ask you, do you have a trampoline? And if you don't, and you hit, no, I don't, it's not saying, hey, if you buy one in the future, you must tell us. It's simply asking if you have one or not.
Well,
so if you bought one afterwards, who cares?
No, but I'm interested. Does the policy say that you have to report certain things? Does it? I don't know. I've never read one totally, so I'm asking you.
The company to company, it can vary. So there are companies. I have one company that actually says on the application, will you ever have a trampoline? And you have to initial no. Now that's a silly question, but they're covering that.
What about if you say no? I don't know.
Well, what the requirement is that you say no.
Okay.
And that for the eligibility. So that's obviously a silly question. But
because then you're lying.
Exactly. They're going so far with what you got, that down that road to protect themselves.
Right.
that
Okay.
they're putting that question on the
I appreciate it. Thank you, Jeremy. Compass Insurance Group, 303-996-9000, 996-9000, the home of the famous insurance checkup. I got her. Okay, we got comments. Shane, please stay on the line. I want to get your comment about the dog, and I want to get the comment about the breaking pipe in the apartment. I'll get to all of your calls. Please, 303-565-6409 is One Clear Choice Doors. Do you hear that number? 303-565-6409 for free inspections, safety adjustments, tune-ups, and on your door. And they'll even tighten the hinge bolts and check it all out top to bottom. But you have to mention Tom Martino to One Clear Choice. They want to put the sticker on there and be your company. And you can find no better company. OneClearChoiceDoors.com, 303-565-6409.
Okay. On the other one woman that got screwed, where are we on that?
You head through Denver this late Thursday
Can you hear me?
northbound I-25
Douglas County, I got a hold of the right folks. They're going to call me back today or tomorrow.
Construction work that currently has the right lane of traffic.
You're talking about the dog case, correct?
I-25
Okay, but
northbound
Chiefs
near
Arena?
downtown, also seeing heavy congestion from Auraria Parkway back
I'm dying to. This pipe one, I don't see, I just don't see them having any responsibility in this shit, not at all, that time frame. None. All her.
Well, I know why you're saying that. It depends on, I don't either. It depends on what would the court see as reasonable.
In a half hour, I don't think is unreasonable.
No, but I'm not saying even that. It's not answering the emergency room, because the emergency line, if they answered the emergency line and it did take them a half hour, that they could say, we got right on it and but not answering it puts a big question mark as to what would the damages have been had they gotten the emergency call. Mark, that is
That's a would've, could've, should've, though. The reality is it was a half hour and that water was turned off. I don't think that's unreasonable.
It was a half hour, but she could make the argument
that it could have been. Who cares if it could have been?
That's what law is. What could have been. That's what mitigation of damages is. It wouldn't have been that the entire premise of mitigation is what could have happened and what would have happened. The same with that. That's the only area of law where it's really important. It's just well, if you had stopped it, it wouldn't have happened. In fact, insurance companies use that against us all the time. Wait a minute, that window was broken and you didn't have it fixed.
Here's where I go with this. This entire complex is subsidized. They know their clientele. I can't imagine they just don't have this just done right. I just fucking can't imagine it.
Why are they not, though, answering an emergency line?
I'm literally trying to find their emergency line right now.
Here's another thing.
I wonder if you call it, if it says, hey, call 911, we're not here.
Well, that would have taken longer than that. And what's 911 going to do when they get there? They can't find the water shut off either.
Fire departments, I do believe they had to know where mine was in my Goodyear building.
Really?
Yeah, that was part of the fire plan. So I don't know how it works in a complex. You know they know where the water is. I don't know if they know where the shutoff is. You know what I'm saying? They definitely have to have a layout of commercial buildings where everything is. In fact, I know that would be including the shutoff.
You know, think about it. And I talked to her and stuff. All she did was lay towels down. She didn't even have a bucket. She could have put it, as many things.
She really screwed herself.
And the complex isn't that old. These aren't old rusty pipes. She fucking broke this pipe somehow.
And you know how
she did. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
She twisted it without holding the pipe with another wrench. That's how you're supposed to
do it. It's like, how about if a fly landed on the toilet and she tried to kill it with a sledgehammer?
But Mark, here's the whole test with mitigation. What is reasonable? A half hour may very well be. May very well be. I mean, but I don't know.
What is it they told her?
Of running water for 30 minutes. Holy shit. And she's calling people. She called the management a couple times. She called the emergency line, and then she went out to look for someone. What did you say? What if what?
What if, I was just reading one on here, they left a window open in the middle of fucking winter, They weren't at the apartment. They left it open. A storm came in, and the pipe froze because the fucking window was open. They weren't there. Millions of dollars in damage. I mean, where does that go? I mean, it definitely ends in a bankruptcy, but where the hell does that go?
Well, you're responsible for your negligent behavior, period. You're responsible. You are.
No, but could they argue, okay, well, the guy below them that started seeing water come down never called anybody either, so therefore it's mitigated with them?
Well, it's possible that if a guy saw stuff and didn't report it, it's possible his damages could be excluded.
I want to see what, I'm calling this apartment complex, I want to see what they say about their emergency line.
Or just call the emergency line. I can't find it.
She might have it.
Yeah, that's true. I'd love to call it and see what it says. I bet it says, hey, you've reached blah, blah, blah.
Here is truly the difference between...
You're so delicious.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. Okay, what is your comment on the dog case, Shane?
Yeah, hi, Tom.
Hey.
So this is regarding Lucinda.
Yeah.
I hope she's still listening because I think that...
Yeah, we're going to get her back on because she signed this with... The judge signed it, the DA signed it, she signed it. We believe she has a done deal and they can't reopen it, and I think they just got stuck. But anyway, what's your comment?
Yeah, so are you familiar with the legal term color of law?
Vaguely.
Okay, so just for your listeners' benefit, quickly, color of law... so all judges...
Or spirit of law, I call it, but go ahead.
No, different things, two different things. So color of law centers around the bond that all judges are required to have, that all police officers are required to have, that even court clerks are required to have, and that bond is issued by an assurity company. And so if you had a government official, let's say a police officer, harm you, then you can sue their bond. And so the surety company, if you win the suit, the surety company will then pay you, and then the officer is required to then reimburse.
But under what what are you talking about though? What I don't even understand how this applies.
Yeah, exactly. And
so how does it apply?
A little bit of background because you didn't know what color of law was.
Well,
so in this case, it didn't start out as a color of law violation, and all states have color of law statutes, and the federal statutes are there as well. So it did not start out as a color of law violation, but it turned into a color of law violation when they found their error. The charging instrument was based on sounds like a non-existent statute. It was an old statute that's no longer in play. But they then discovered that, and then they attempted to coerce her into doing something she would not otherwise do based on a law that didn't exist. So color of law is when an officer tells you that you're violating this particular law, and there is no law. So he's making it up, or he's mistaken, let's say. The key to a color of law violation is whether or not the officer, judge, prosecutor, it doesn't matter, whoever it is, whether or not they have knowledge that they are not trying to enforce an actual, or that they are trying to enforce.
How does this help her other than defining color of law, which probably doesn't affect anyone 90% of their, 99.9% of their life? How does this affect Lucinda?
Yeah, so what she needs to do is she needs to tell this prosecutor, judge, whoever she's dealing with, that she believes that there is a color of law violation. She probably should get with an attorney. Attorneys do not like color of law because that typically goes against their side.
I think that is why they're trying to redo this, because they know that they violated her trust. And she trusted them, and she said, okay, let's do it, and now they say we can't accept this.
Yeah, but that's when they stepped in it. So they realized that it was a bad statute to begin with. It was non-existent. Where they stepped in it was they're now trying to get her to sign a new agreement based on the
I understand.
Charging and
so, are you saying that under the color of law, because they are liable for violating these principles, are you saying in English that she can get them to pay the damages?
No. Well, so there's class 1 through 5 violations, and this sounds like it's probably a class 1 violation, maybe a class 2 violation. And there are limits that are in each class level. So basically, she would have to sue them, or sue their bond. That's who she would actually go after. She would go after the surety company who holds their bond.
Okay, so, yeah, and by the way, I really appreciate it, truly I do, but we're getting way out of the realm of just normal listeners. I don't necessarily want to go there because this is a show about everyday life, so a color of law violation, right, I believe so.
From it by just telling them that she believes
okay.
And that's violation of color of law.
And that's very valuable information, Shane. Honest to God, it is. Color of law. I've never heard that term put that way. I didn't know. I thought it was under the spirit of law and what intent was and all of that. But color of law is the trust factor and the responsibility these people in authority have, and they can't violate it knowingly. Okay, so having said that, that's another bullet in the arsenal here for her. I think they have a tough case here to try to get her on another charge. 303-713-8255. Now, as far as this apartment, we've been going round and round. Dave's got a comment on that water break situation. Go ahead, Dave. What's happening?
I was wondering, Tom, would not the apartment complex have a mitigating responsibility?
That's the entire comment we're trying. Excuse me. That's the entire issue we're addressing. Now, I'm not saying she's not responsible. I'm not even saying she's not responsible for the whole thing. But I am saying she has a good argument to present. That mitigation, because the emergency line did not even get answered.
Well, I'm saying they knew in the beginning that there was no shutoff valves for anybody to go back there and turn the water off.
How do we know that?
There was you don't think that the management company knows that none of the apartments have any shutoff valves under the toilets?
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure apartments are required to have shutoff valves. I don't think that's a violation of anything.
Wouldn't that be a building code violation?
I don't know, but if it is, that would be a great argument. If they violated building codes. Hold on. We're addressing this. We're trying to get a hold of somebody to figure out where we go with her. And we have a lot more to talk about on the Troubleshooter Show.
Nothing is more important than your health. Hi, I'm Donnie, owner.
Which one?
Just the third hour.
Okay, that's what's
consistently rated the best in the industry.
Yeah, they just moved it basically like 30 seconds. Or, well, I guess technically a minute.
Must have strength. For 46 years, carries a lifetime warranty on all parts.
Don't 58 or 5820 now, I think it is when you're out.
For over 20 years, we've been providing the highest quality fitness equipment money can buy. During our floor model clearance sale going on now through the end of July, save up to 40% off, the lowest prices nationwide. Now is the time to invest in your health. Come in and visit one of our 2 convenient locations.
Dan, would you get me her unit number, please?
In Denver, off 50.
She's on the phone in there. And then get me her last name and unit number.
I'll get her
shopping center.
And get the emergency number. She already gave it, but I dialed it. I got it wrong.
Getting Colorado in shape since 1997.
This is Denver's talk station. More with Martino after the news on 630 KNOW, an iHeart radio station. KHOW, Denver.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The president said transgender troops are not welcome in the military, but the Pentagon, one day after that tweet, says the current policy, which allows transgender individuals to serve openly, remains in effect.
If the president wants to new policy to take action, it will have to be drafted by the National Security Council and sent to Defense Secretary James Mattis and the Pentagon for implementation.
Fox Radio's John Decker. More out on the deadly night at the Ohio State Fair when 18-year-old Tyler Jones was killed when the fireball rides
Brent's on Access 3, so he's ready to go. He wanted to do his live at 12.
The ride's Dutch maker says that this is the first serious malfunction. There are 43 similar rides.
I can't do the break coming right out of the show. I can't. I mean,
I told him he would have to hold. Would you like me to say something different?
No, just all you have to tell him is when I said he could call in any time,
This report is brought to you by
I can't open the show with a commercial. Okay?
It's a thunderstorm today and a high of 80.
I can do it after a few minutes.
64. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 87. Saturday, mostly cloudy and a high of 84.
Figuring out how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, 0 fees. Plus, students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply.
I just want to say thanks to all of you because millions of people just like you have made the iHeartRadio app the #1 rated music app in America. So make sure you check out the app today and see what's new. You know, we make it easy for you to listen to 630 K and all of your favorite talk shows anytime and anywhere. All of your favorite talk shows, all of your favorite stations, and guess what? It's all free. So download the free iHeartRadio app today, and you know what? Let me know what you think. Download the iHeartRadio app now.
The report card is in, and the results are devastating. Under the Senate health care bill, tens of millions of Americans will lose their health coverage. That's according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. Our most vulnerable citizens could get hit the hardest. Children, the elderly, the disabled, people with chronic conditions, and millions of our veterans. And the thousands of Coloradans struggling with opioid addiction and mental health issues could lose their lifeline and any hope of recovery. That's not the healthcare reform we need. Lives are at stake. Our family, friends, and neighbors. Our senators promised to protect our most vulnerable citizens. They must keep their promise. Urge your senators to protect health coverage for as many Americans as possible. Vote no on the Senate health care bill. Paid for by the Coalition to Protect America's Healthcare. ProtectHealthcare.org.
This is the Troubleshooter Show.
I need somebody.
Now, Tom Martino on 630 K-House.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate.
Hello, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Man, this show is going fast. We are sweeping through these calls. Yeah, we have a few problems that we are trying to solve and help people with, and I'll tell you, it gets frustrating, but I will tell you what we love. We love when we can finally make a difference in your life. And right now we're having a discussion on mitigation of damages, what responsibility people have, and I'll explain that later. But really, this is all about everything in your life. Everything. Look around. Your clothes, the TV, your phone, radio, the car you're driving, your garage door, the house, washer, dryer, the legal documents, the closing, the loan. Look around. Everywhere. This show is everywhere. Lighting. You want to know about water and water quality? Everything that we encounter every day. And if you have a problem in any of those areas, you call us. If you need information in any of those areas, you call us. I've been doing this a long time, and we have many resources. Let's go to the phones. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. We have a line open. You can get right through. Tony, what's going on with you, Tony?
Tom, I'm a 68-year-old man, and I co-signed in 2008 for my goddaughter to borrow some money from Wells Fargo for her to go to college. She paid it up until 2012, and in 2012, she quit making payments on it. So Wells Fargo wrote it off as a loss. She walked away, and I got a stain on my record, on my credit. My question is...
Wait a minute. What do you mean they wrote it off as a loss? They stopped trying to collect it?
Yeah, evidently so. And I questioned them on it, and they're saying that it was easier for them to do that than for them to go to garnish I asked why they didn't garnish her check.
Well, why didn't they come after you? I wonder why they didn't. What, you should have kept your mouth shut because you're asking them, why didn't you come after me? That's what you're saying.
This is now. I received paperwork from them telling me that they had wrote it off as a loss. And so,
wait a minute. Why would they even tell you that? How does that letter look?
I applied for a loan to buy a house, and that's when I found out that she had quit paying in 2012.
Hold on. Well, what I'm asking is this: what letter did you get, and what did it say?
It was a letter from a credit bureau, from when I applied for a loan.
What did it say?
They made a check. It said that they wrote it off as a loss, and that she had quit paying in 2012.
Okay. Now, you asked why didn't they garnish her check? Because they didn't want to. They don't have to.
That's what they that's what they said.
They should have come. I don't. For the life of me, I don't know why they didn't come after you.
They didn't. They never did. I never did hear from them.
They still can. They have 2 years to go.
Well, it's been since more than 2 years.
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm not what I'm saying. She stopped paying in 2012. They have 6 years from that date to come after her or you for collection. Even if they, here's another thing that's going to shock you. Even if they so-called wrote it off as a loss,
yes,
they are still allowed to come after you, and they can. And then they just count it as income. So many people think when loans are written off, they're off the hook, and that's not true at all. You can write it off and sell it to a collector. You know, you can do anything you want. So be very careful, because you have 2 more years where they can get a judgment against you.
Okay, so I found out that she never filed bankruptcy. She just quit making payments on it.
Okay.
So I didn't want to cause no problems with the family, and so I was just hoping that in 7 years it would come off of my record, yada yada. I've changed my mind. I want to take her to court. I want to sue her so that she could pay the money to clear my record.
Okay.
My question to you is, I Googled it, and it said 6 years, I believe, in Colorado. Is the time limitation from the time that I signed the note in 08 or the time that she quit paying in 12?
It's time of default. So let me ask you this.
12.
First of all, what was the total loan?
It was actually for $3,000 when I signed. Then they allowed her to go back in there and up it to $5,000. And so the total loan, even though she paid it from 8 to 12, the total loan still owed on it is $5,525.
And it was only $5,000 to begin with. I know 3 plus 2, but it was $5,000, and now she owes $5,500 with penalties and stuff. Okay. Well, hold on a second, all right? Because this is an important thing, and you might think you can go after her, but you know, if you go to court with her, she could say that you co-signed, and therefore the agreement was you were going to pay half to help her with her college. Now, I'm not saying she would have. Well, of course it's not. But you're on the loan. Now, I'm not thinking a judge would agree with that. But don't think just because you co-signed, you have all this power. You can sue her and make her pay it. You can. You can get a court to compel her to pay it. But she can go bankrupt. You know, she can do anything she wants. Did you talk to her first? Did you talk to her?
No, she quit talking to me. She don't talk to me no more.
That's terrible for a nice guy that tried to help her. Unbelievable.
That's what you get. That's
now,
what you get.
When you say a goddaughter,
it's a small claims court?
yes, you can. But
what's the limit
remember this: you don't have. What are you suing on? Hold on. You know what? You got to hold on. You just got to hold on. I see Brent Ivins has dropped by to talk to us about qualifying for conventional loans. So many people, you know, they don't even think about the qualifying. But you better now, because it's changed, Brent. Right? Let's talk about that. The changes in qualification. Is he there? I thought he's in
all of the changes after the mortgage meltdown, where we have started to see credit easing. And here's some of the highlights of what we're seeing that will go into effect on conventional loans with Fannie Mae this weekend. They are going to raise the debt-to-income threshold from 45% to 50%. So that's a significant hike.
So that will help.
That will allow
more people to qualify, right?
Absolutely. It will help more people to qualify. One of the other changes that they're making is how they're going to look at self-employed income. Historically, it has been 2 years of tax returns, no exceptions. They now, depending on the strength of the file, are going to look at 1 year's tax returns. So this is just a couple of the small things we're seeing, but as you look at what's going on in the marketplace, we have home values at record highs. We have rates in the high threes. We have credit easing. We have not seen this type of environment for current homeowners or potential home buyers in quite some time, where all the factors are working in their favor to help them out.
Even especially when it comes to, you can qualify better because they're easing some of the requirements. Brent Ivins and Ideal Home Loans wanted you to know that. 303-867-7000 if you're interested in qualifying or you have a loan anywhere in your future, give them a call. They love working with you, even if you're not immediately ready. But of course, if you are, they can close in 3 weeks or less. 303-867-7000. Okay, now, Mark, this co-signing thing, I don't know if you know what I'm going to say or not, but he wants to sue her because he's a co-signer on this loan, right? He wants to sue her. What is he suing for?
Beats me.
He's a co-signer, right? So you and her are on a loan. So what do you sue her for? Do you sue her for breach of contract?
Actually, yeah. He could sue her for breach of contract.
For what contract? What contract?
The contract she has to make the payments with that company.
He can't sue. He doesn't have standing to sue her for that.
I don't know.
Because she could She could sue him for the same thing.
Yeah, she could do that. She could countersue you for the same thing.
You're not making the payments either. Tony, listen carefully. You sound like a really nice guy. That's why I'm asking you these questions. You don't have anything to sue her. Do you have an agreement that she made with you?
No.
So what were you going to sue? When you go to court,
I was going to sue her so that she could pay make the payments to Wells Fargo so that they could clear
Tony,
the
Tony, do you have an agreement through like a divorce court or anything saying
it's not divorce? He's a friend.
He just simply signed it.
They're not divorced. They're friends. He's a goddaughter. Tony, listen. Okay, Your Honor, I'm suing her. I see a case before me. Tony, you are suing. What's her first name?
Lucy.
Tony, you are suing Lucy to make payments on this Wells Fargo loan. Sir, are you a vice president or a representative of Wells Fargo?
No.
Are you authorized by Wells Fargo to take legal action on their behalf?
No.
Well, sir, you have no standing in this case. Dismissed. Okay, wait, hold on, Tony. I'm not kidding you.
If he had an agreement where she was going to make the payments.
Well, of course if he had an agreement.
So there's nothing there. Yeah.
Where's the agreement?
Burger.
Now, here's what you could do. You could sue on a breach of a verbal contract. Now, here's the problem, okay? So, Your Honor, I am suing for breach of a verbal contract. She promised me she would pay half if I co-signed. Or no, not pay half, pay the loan if I helped her go to school and co-sign. Okay, hold on. Right. There's it. We have witnesses to that effect. Mama, Dada, whatever. Yeah. Do you have witnesses?
I do.
Did they hear her say, "Oh, Tony, thank you. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay this off. I'm going to pay it off"?
Well, they were there when she asked me to co-sign, and I couldn't hardly wait to get to Wells Fargo on Monday to co-sign so that she could continue her schooling.
You are so nice. Man, you're a nice guy. Well, how do you know her?
She's my goddaughter.
What does that mean? I mean, how do you know her? Do you know her dad or her mom? How do you...
I'm a Catholic. When she was born, I baptized her.
But Tony, they didn't walk out into the street and say, "Tony, can you be someone's..."
Her mother is my aunt.
Okay, that's what I meant. So her mom is your aunt. You are such a nice guy. So
would you quit saying that?
No, you are, man. You are. You said you couldn't wait to get to the bank. Okay. Well, her parents...
He's not that nice. He's trying to sue his granddaughter at this point.
It's not his
How nice can you get?
It's a goddaughter. Did you talk to her parents?
No, I have not. I didn't want to burden my aunt with it. My aunt can't afford to pay it, and so I didn't want to bother her with it. And when I just found out that she didn't file bankruptcy, so it's supposedly going to be on my credit for the rest of my life, I guess.
Tony,
I just bought a rental property, and I had to pay higher interest
I got bad news for you, okay?
All right.
It's going to be on your, even if she does file bankruptcy, it's going to be on your credit. You don't get off of that for that. No.
Okay.
Tony.
I thought after so many years it would just drop off.
It will. It will, but what does that have to do with bankruptcy?
Wait, as you know, I came in the middle. Is this a student loan?
No. Well,
okay.
yes.
Does that fall off on his credit ever?
Well, it's a private student loan. Okay. It's just a private student loan.
Okay.
With Wells Fargo. It's not a government guarantee.
So he can bankrupt and it's gone.
No. He can. Yeah. But he doesn't want to go bankrupt.
No, of course not.
No, I'm not. Not for 5,000.
My only point was, there's some loans, it doesn't matter. They're not going to go away.
That's right.
Apparently, this isn't one of them.
Right. So, Tony, listen. You're going to sue on a verbal contract, and all she has to say is, I never promised that. Okay? Now, better yet, let's say she doesn't show up, and you get a default judgment. Okay?
Okay.
Now, on that default judgment, how are you going to go after her? How are you going to make her pay you?
Well, it would be nice if they would garnish her check, and she has a job.
Tony, you still don't get the point. Okay. You are suing her. They don't have to garnish her check. They have washed their hands of it.
Yeah.
So it's you getting the money. You can't sue for her to pay Wells Fargo. It can't be done. Okay. You can only sue for her to pay you, and then you pay Wells Fargo. But let me tell you what happens when you do that. You reopen the case, you add another 6 years to the collectability statute, and if she stops paying, they're going to look at you as making the most recent payments, and you stopped. I'm telling you, Tony, you don't know what you're doing, and it will get you in trouble. You can't, I'm just telling you, if you sue her, and they order her to pay you, you have to pay Wells, you start the 6-year clock all over again. And it's going to go away in 2 years as far as collectability on you. And if you were able to get loans and you're able to survive, please forget about it. Otherwise, it's going to ruin you. This is what happens to nice people. This is what happens to nice people when they try to do something like this. You know, I'm telling you, you get kicked in the ass. The more you try to help people, the worse it gets. Yeah, if I sound bitter, I am, because I hate hearing people like this poor guy. And Mark, how many times have we heard about co-signers getting screwed? And then how many times have we heard about nice people and grandparents raising their grandkids?
It's nonstop. And remember, when you co-sign a loan,
you're signing for it. It's yours. Hey, if you're exhausted, irritable, moody, lack of drive, no libido, it's natural. It comes with age. That's just it. According to nature, we deplete hormones, we shrivel up, and we die eventually. And you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. Listen, when you deplete your food, what do? You eat again. So when you deplete your hormones, your body no longer produces what you had when you were younger. You can optimize them through BioT. I promise you, you will feel great. It's the natural thing to do. You optimize your hormones. Why would you not do it? What you do is you get tested with a BioT provider, and then they will find out what you need. Either testosterone, estrogen, even men need that, and women need testosterone. It depends on the balance. You need thyroid sometimes, and you need progesterone sometimes. Whatever you need, they will take care of, and the delivery system is natural and cardio-activated. In most cases, you get this little pellet under the skin that dissolves like a grain of rice, and it dissolves over 4 to 6 months. So you don't need that many appointments. It's automatic. It's in your system like a gland secretes hormones. You just don't think about it. BioTmedical.com. Go there. Find a provider today. Why do you want to live a life that's not to the full? BioT, B-I-O-T-E, medical.com.
This report is brought to you by Discover Student Loans.
Trouble spots exist around town for your Thursday afternoon commute. I-25 seeing slower speeds northbound from Auraria Parkway back
southbound I-25 in that same area. Also seeing some delays.
One of the things he said on that, he originally signed for $3,000, and then they upped it. She was able to add $2,000 more to that. Would that make that a legal loan?
No.
Because they just changed the loan thing from what he originally signed.
In the beginning, I've had this happen many times. Really? In the original paperwork, it probably said it was the line of credit and could not exceed a certain amount, probably. Now, I don't see any way that they would have given it.
Figuring out how to
not it well. Who?
Plumb line.
Plumline.
Private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, 0 fees. Plus, students can earn
5 seconds.
Great. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply.
You know, when it comes to
Plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains, you need people you can trust. People who will show up on time, people who will give you pricing up front before work begins, and people who will guarantee 100% satisfaction. Those people are Plumline Services. That's right. By the way, they have a fine fix or free $149 for electrical problems. Anything in your house for $149 fixed with parts, or it's free. Why do we say or it's free? Well, sometimes if it's so major they could never do it for that, you have nothing to lose, but you get a free diagnostic. Not only do they have fine fix or free for $149, but they have 93 or free with drains. If you have a clogged drain, they will come and clear it for $93 or it's free. Again, if it's some major problem, you need a whole new drain, they'll give you a quote, and they have their own drain division. It will be competitive, it'll be a great value, and it'll be honest. So if you have any problems, call Plumline Services. And if you are told you need a furnace or a service change or a water heater, anything major, you get free second opinions from Plumline Services. This is really important because truly, if you need it, they'll tell you. If you don't, they'll tell you. And they want to take a shot at your business. You should take advantage of the free offer of free second opinions. 303-586-1086. 303-586-1086.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Champion just offered everything I wanted in a window.
Experience what others are raving about with Champion windows and home exteriors. Improve your home's appearance with new windows, siding, or sunroom. And now, during Champion's Summer of Savings sale, you'll pay no interest or payments till 2019. Every American-made Champion window is installed using expert craftsmen and features Champion's exclusive Comfort 365 glass. And Champion's limited lifetime warranty covers the frame, glass, hardware, and even installation. That's why I endorse Champion. Right now, get $250 off every Champion window and pay no interest or payments till 2019. Hot summer temperatures and high energy bills are right around the corner. Don't miss Champion's Summer of Savings, going on now. Schedule today for your free in-home estimate at GetChampion.com. That's GetChampion.com.
Are you ready? The iHeartRadio Music Festival Capital One cardholder presale is on. Cardholders, get access to tickets right now. Tickets on sale to the general public tomorrow at 11 a.m. Go to iHeartRadio.com/Capital One before they sell out.
There's a new 24/7 Bronco station that just hit
At the 1-yard line.
the airwaves. Orange and Blue Radio at AM 760.
This is John Elway.
Elway can run.
Terrell Davis.
There it is. Terrell Davis.
This is Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp. The all-new Orange and Blue Radio at AM 760. All Broncos, all the time. Energized by Onus IV Hydration Therapy. Now with 2 locations. Grand opening underway in the DTC landmark. ONUSIV.com.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the only show anywhere of its kind. I know you know that if you've been listening. Welcome from across the country. We're here live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on iHeartRadio, and also live on KHOW Radio and mornings, the first 2 hours on KRDO in Colorado Springs. And we have Dave, who made that comment about the broken pipe. I don't know if you have an additional comment, Dave, on the broken pipe with Sabrina.
I was just wondering if the apartment complex would have fixed the pipe themselves, and if they should install the shutoff valve.
Oh, that's right. That's what we were researching. Hold on, Dave. I'm sorry.
There is not shutoff valves in each apartment.
No, it's not required, Dave, but that would have been a good argument. So, Sabrina, we've exhausted all of our sources, but here's what we want.
I talked to him.
What did they say? Sabrina, Mark...
I already talked to her, and there's no comment click. So I will say this, in her behalf, they're a bunch of asses over there, in my opinion. But they're saying they already dealt with her. They're done talking about it. Click is what I got.
Sabrina, if you refuse to pay, they're going to take you to court. And
She did not even take me to court. They didn't even give me that chance. She right away, yesterday, I came home from picking the kids up from daycare, and I had a notice on my door, and it was a demand for payment. Otherwise, they're going to start eviction notice.
No, but listen, that's suing, by the way, another form. When you go to the court, okay, to the eviction hearing, I would say this if this was me. I would say, Your Honor, I am not behind on rent. I can pay the rent. I'm raising my grandchildren. Didn't you say that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, and here's the deal. I will probably have to pay something for this in monthly payments that I can afford. But this is not a rent issue, and I should not be evicted. And the monthly payment I should make should be based on what I consider to be real damages. I tried to call the emergency number, and they never answered. It took me a while to find someone to turn it off, and then it took a while for them to find someone. So it's not, they did not, you remember this word, they did not mitigate or lessen their damages, okay? You had the idea when you called me, and that's all you can do, okay? You need to say, this is not a rent issue. I should not be evicted, okay? And the damages that were caused, part of it was because they did not respond quickly, okay? They didn't lessen their damages. I wish you the best, Sabrina, but really, you did, in the long run, you did cause this, Sabrina. It is your fault. I mean that. And they have a right to evict you, probably, okay? It's sad. There's not much we can do about it.
And it's going to be hard to get another place with an eviction on the record.
And kids.
Well, and of course the assistants.
God. And they wouldn't talk to us at all.
Oh, man, she was one angry lady.
Because those are privately owned, right? It's not a government thing. It's private. Right? I mean, in other words,
I'm sure ultimately it comes back to a management companies who I'm dealing with over there.
It's just sad. Just sad.
It would be hard, though, to figure out if the water ran for 15 minutes versus 20 minutes versus 25. And how do you tell where the damage went?
I know.
It all seems impossible.
You don't. I mean, it's just an argument people make, and it's always speculation, always. And it's up to a judge to figure it out. What's going on, Joe?
Well, I was just calling to ask a question about mortgage insurance and no particular problem.
Now, mortgage insurance, for those listening, is a very simple concept. If your loan-to-value ratio is higher than 80% loan-to-value, in other words, if your house is worth, worth less, let's say, and you have, let's say, a 90% loan, or you have a 95% loan, many lenders require, most of them require what's called private mortgage insurance, which insures, people don't know exactly what it insures. Do you know what it actually insures, Joe?
That's exactly why I'm calling.
Here's what it insures. A conventional loan is 80% loan to value. So let's put it this way. On a $100,000 home, an 80% loan is $80,000, right? Okay. Now, that's a conventional loan. So let's say you can't afford that, and you get a 95% loan. Then your loan would be $95,000. The only thing that private mortgage insurance does is insures the difference between 80% and 95%. So in this case, they would only be insuring $15,000. That's why it's some of the most expensive insurance in the world, because for 15 grand of coverage, or a small amount of coverage, people are paying out the nose. And it usually adds anywhere from $200 to $400 a month to your insurance. I mean, to your payment.
Sure. And so if somebody were to default on that loan, the mortgage insurance would cover that spread?
It only makes it like, if you default on the loan, it makes it as if you defaulted on a conventional loan. That's all it does, is it takes out that extra percentage, and it gives the lender a little more pad to work with.
Okay, so if, let's say, I still owed $90,000 on that house.
Right.
And I got it at 90. You know, I put 90, or my mortgage was originally 95. So if I bail at 90, the insurance covers the 10, and I'm still responsible for the 80.
$90,000. If you owed 95 grand on 100,000 and you paid it down to 90, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I defaulted on that.
Okay. All it would do is make it as if it was a conventional loan. So you bailed on the 90, then that's 10,000 more than the conventional loan. So they would then start foreclosure, and all of their numbers to the insurance company would the insurance company would have to make up the extra $10,000 basically in that case.
So they could only come after me for 80.
No, they can come after you for 100% of the deficiency.
Isn't that sort of double dipping?
It doesn't matter. There's no law against double dipping.
Okay.
I mean, people think there is, but there isn't. I mean, what you're saying is, if the insurance company comes after you for a default, and they have a deficiency, okay? If they have a deficiency, I'm not positive, but almost positive, that in the insurance agreement it says that any money you recover more than 80% loan to value comes back to us. I can almost bet you that it says that. But if it doesn't, then no, they would only be able to get what their loss is, not what they were paid for by insurance. But trust me, I have never seen a foreclosure ever where they go after just the 80% loan to value. They go after the entire thing and get what they can. That's what they do. So
okay.
It'd be interesting, though, if the insurance paid off, if it happened to be right at that 20% and the insurance paid off the mortgager in full.
Well, it doesn't pay out the mortgage, Mark. It just pays off.
I'm saying if the insurance actually covers what the deficiency was.
Okay, so in other words, let's take this scandal. If the house, if he owes let's say he's been paying down, and now he owes 80 on a 100.
Correct.
He has an 80% loan to value.
Correct.
So if he goes
into foreclosure, and they actually sell it for that amount, and the insurance covers whatever little difference there is.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of weird. Would it actually be? I guess it still would be a forced foreclosure, but he actually paid it off.
Right. In that case, if the lender has no loss, the insurance company would come after him for what they paid. But, you know,
but he's paying for that policy. It's almost like gap insurance, isn't it? Or is it completely different?
But, Mark, it doesn't matter if you pay for the insurance. I mean, okay, I see the argument you're making. You're making the argument that if you're paying for the mortgage insurance and you use it, they shouldn't be able to come after you for it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. If I pay for gap insurance, can you imagine that gap insurance coming after me for paying the gap?
Right, right. No, I can't.
It's weird.
It can't, but this is a default, too. So it's a great question if we can get one of our experts. Suzanne, if Brent Ivinson, is she listening? I see her hands moving. Can you give me a thumbs up? Are you listening? Oh, she's not. Okay. I'll just wait because okay, if you can get Brent Ivinson from Ideal for this question, it's a good one. Or if you could get, if you can't find him, let's do affordable interest mortgage, Kurt Rogers. Call him. All right? Let's ask either one of those. I'm Tom Martino. Joe, you brought up a good point. If they actually did not have the loss, can they actually come after you? And can the insurance company come after you? Very good question. Right now, though, it's good to tell you about Stem Cell Therapy of America because I love the way they operate. I mean, they don't operate, you know, like as in surgery. I shouldn't use that word. What I mean is I like their mode of operation when it comes to getting stem cell treatments. They first want you to be fully informed of the procedure. And that's why they do informational seminars. Very, very important that you attend one of these. It's packed with information about pain and relieving pain and cutting edge information when it comes to therapies like stem cell. So they have them all over in Denver, the Tech Center, Littleton, Boulder, Fort Collins, and other areas. A short drive to anywhere you are, and it's totally free. But the important part is if you have pain in your shoulder, joint pain, neuropathy, knee, low back, elbows, whatever it is, and you want to know how stem cell can help you because it's packed with growth factors and it grows literally new tissue. If you want to know how this can help you relieve your pain or avoid surgery, then call 855-262-4040 to go to one of their seminars. Just get a seat at the next one near you. 855-262-4040.
This report is brought to you by Discover Student Loans.
A couple of significant delays on our interstates as you make your way to the metro area. You crash northbound I-25 right under the I-225 interchange bridge. Looks as though police
Or at the end if you want, it's up to you.
Blocking the right side.
I'll do it in 35.
Are beginning to stack up as they currently reach back to Arapahoe Road. And I-270 Commerce City also seeing its normal stretch of stop-and-go traffic westbound 270 from Bath.
All right, Pro Auto in 30.
Currently, the spot where delays are heavy.
I think the analogy to gap insurance
mostly
is
sunny
very
skies
good
today with a
analogy.
high of 83. Chance of that
It is, but that's not a default though. Gap insurance is not.
Right. But
There's a default, and you might agree that we're insuring the lender, but not you, and you agree to pay it. There might be a wording like that, Mark, like we're insuring your lender for you, and we reserve the right to come after you. You never know.
Almost like insurance from like a credit union if you don't pay your full coverage.
Let's talk about auto maintenance. I love auto maintenance when it's done right. I love depending on people for auto maintenance, like Pro Auto Care. Why? I get nice little emails that tell me when I need to have an oil change or when I need any kind of factory maintenance. They keep track of it for me. It's like my car nanny. I also love the specials they have, like for new customers. You got to tell them Martino sent you if you're a new customer. You got to be a new customer. Okay, listen, $14.95 for an oil change and a filter and tire rotation. Isn't that a great way to find out about a service place that's been around 25 years? You will love Al Aramis and his team. 303 Pro Auto. That's the number, 303 Pro Auto. 2 locations near Evans and I-25. Near Bowles and Santa Fe. 303 Pro Auto, and the website is 303proauto.com.
Nothing is more important than your health. Hi, I'm Donnie, owner of Fitness Gallery, where we sell the world's finest fitness equipment. Now through the end of July, save up to 40% off all floor models and clearance items. True treadmills, ellipticals, and bikes carry the industry's best warranty. Runners World top-rated treadmills for over 25 years.
Are they going out?
Equipment carries a lifetime warranty on all
I don't know if they're leaving yet.
58th Ave and I-25 or Highlands Ranch at University and C470. FitnessGallery.com. Fitness Gallery, getting Colorado in shape since 1997.
Hail and severe storm season is here, and that's why you need to call Golden Spike Roofing. If you think you have damage, call Golden Spike at 303.
This one analyst says Amazon's going to be a $2,000 stock.
What's that, Mark?
Just stock deal.
I wonder what would happen. 303-942-1386. Well, can't we just leave it? I mean, can't that just be the thing? I mean, the whole idea is to kind of work it together. I mean, does he have to have a specific topic? Ask him. I mean, or can we just plug him in this phone call? That's the best way to do it. Otherwise, you transition weirdly. He'll get way more time than he normally would.
630 KHOW, Denver's talk station.
Frank Duran, the real estate man. If you're looking for real estate, you will do no better than FrankDuranTheRealEstateMan.com. And I mean that. I say that, but I truly mean it. It almost rolls off the tongue. It's so easy. Mark, we have we had ever a negative experience with Frank? Ever?
No.
I mean, we have how many reviews come in?
About
the reviews that come in every week. That's why Frank says, I give you a one-day listing. You let me list it for 1 day, meaning let me get it cleaned and staged. And then if you want out, you can have out. Because he knows you will love the way they take care of you. That's 303-920-1622. 303-920-1622. FrankDuranTheRealEstateMan.com. All right, we had a question that's very interesting about mortgages, and I really don't know the answer. It's because it's never come up before. I want to try to explain it clearly and succinctly for the guy that called. And Kurt, are you there? Okay.
I am here.
Kurt Rogers is with Affordable Interest Mortgage. He's on our referral list at referralist.com. Kurt, okay, let's just take a case where somebody has private mortgage insurance, okay? And they have paid the loan down to where the loan is now at, let's say let's make it easy, on a $100,000 loan, which we don't see, but you know, they paid it down to $80,000. So it is now theoretically an 80% loan to value. So they default on this loan. The private mortgage insurance makes up for any kind of deficiency, so the bank has no loss whatsoever. Okay?
Okay.
The bank then cannot come after you as a defaulter, or they can't come after you because they don't have a loss. Isn't that right?
No, but the PMI company can.
Now, that's what we wanted to ask you. If you're paying the premium for the PMI company, can you make the argument that, you know, in other words, my insurance company doesn't sue me when I have health insurance or auto insurance when I put in a claim? They don't sue me for the money back.
Correct.
But isn't that almost the same thing or not? Or is it some weird way I'm insuring not myself, but I'm insuring the lender and I'm paying for it? I don't know. Have you ever actually read the agreements?
I've never read the agreements, but I've had that question asked before.
Yeah.
And you're insuring the lender. You're not insuring yourself. You're insuring. You're paying for the lender to have the mortgage insurance, so they're protected.
So it's almost like buying a car, and you're supposed to have full coverage. You don't have it, and the credit union makes you. They put on some weird policy that covers their own butt.
Forced insurance.
Yeah.
Correct. That's correct.
So, Kurt, so have you known, though, PMI companies to sue people who default?
In most cases, what I've seen, if somebody defaults on the loan, it's FHA, because they have FHA loan that has MI, and FHA will go after you.
Right.
It's a HUD. I've not seen one where it's a conventional loan where there's private mortgage insurance.
You know, the whole thing sucks if you think about it. It costs more than any other insurance product I can think of, and then if you use it, you get penalized.
Well, that's just the way it is, right, Kurt? I mean, it is expensive, isn't it, as insurance goes?
Yeah, but and like Mark said, it's there to protect the lender.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there to protect you. Because the lender is saying, we will take the risk and loan you this money because you're above 80%, but you have to pay for this, so we're protected.
Right. I understand. Thank you. Kurt Rogers, by the way, has been on our referral list for years and years. 720-895-0500, 720-895-0500, Affordable Interest Mortgage. Thank you, Kurt, for your expertise. Jane has a question about leaving her estate. Okay, Jane.
Yes.
What is happening?
I just wondered if there's a form that you can just fill out so that when you die, your house would automatically go to someone else.
In other words, you're talking about a will?
Go through probate.
You mean without a will?
Without a will.
Because even with a will, you're saying if you put the house and you leave it to someone, it still has to be transferred, and bank accounts have to be transferred and everything. Are you wondering about one form for everything?
No, just one form for the house.
Okay, well, let's talk to David Salisbury. Now, David Salisbury is on my referral list, and he does estate planning, probate law. He does trusts and wills. All of that law he does, and I think he's going to tell you about a really neat tool that he can help you with on leaving that house. And go ahead, David.
Okay, Tom. What you can do is use what's called a beneficiary deed. On that deed, what you say is that at your death, the property goes to whoever you list on that deed. During the time that the deed's in place, the property still belongs to you. No one else has any legal rights to it. But it does say upon your death, it goes to whoever you want. Now, last thing is, if for some reason you change your mind about that beneficiary deed, you can revoke it and get rid of it or change it in any manner you want.
That's really cool if you think about it. I mean, really, you can have your home, you don't really give it up, and when you die, it's automatic, right? So, David, you don't have to go through any probate.
No, sir. You don't have to do anything. It's like joint ownership, except for a joint owner does have legal rights to the property.
Right. So, is this something that a form that you get that you file with the?
It's got you could try to find it online, but once it's signed and notarized, it has to be recorded to be effective.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't cost that much to hire an attorney to do something like that.
No, not at all. I mean, a few $100 will get that done.
Okay.
you're welcome to call me off air.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to talk to you about doing it.
Yeah, and you know, David Salisbury always does initial consultations complimentary. If anyone ever has a question about what they need to do, he'll be happy to help you.
And the coolest part is he does flat rate. He doesn't charge per hour.
Yeah, 720-493-3911. 720-493-3911. And it's called David Salisbury on my referral list at referrallist.com. So let's talk to Tom. He wants to give somebody some kudos, and I want to do that. Tom, what's happening?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been listening to your show quite often, and it seems like you're getting a lot of complaints about contractors.
About landscaping especially.
Well, we had the worst yard in the neighborhood for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I got so sick of looking at it, and I could just imagine what my neighbors had to look at. We basically had weeds and dirt, so it was time to fix it.
What happened?
And I just went right to your referral list.
Excellent. Thank you.
I didn't even go anywhere else.
Thank
you. I called Mr. Green Jeans.
Yeah.
We need a sprinkler system and grass.
Great people.
But they never called me back.
So too bad.
Sully,
yep.
And Mike Sully just jumped right on it.
He's a good guy, man. I'll tell you, we have great people. I'm glad that you had a great time with Sully Landscaping. And is it Sullis Landscaping technically? Is that it? Or Sully's? Sully's, right. Sully's. And yeah, they've been on the referral list for a while, and we love them. Thank you for telling us that. And I apologize for Mr. Green, you're not calling back. So many of these people get so busy, and you know, it's the front end that needs work sometimes. Okay, we have so much more to talk about, and we want to also try to figure out what's going on with that broken water thing. If there's anything we can do to help that woman, if you have any suggestions, call us.
This report is brought to you by Discover Student Loans.
A couple of significant delays in our interstates as you make your way to the metro area.
Her getting another place is going to be fucking next to
Emergency crews are currently blocking the right side of the freeway there. Backups due to this wreck are beginning to stack up.
And renter's insurance is like nothing.
And I-270
What do you mean nothing? Oh, you mean, yeah.
Oh, like $100 a year. I mean,
is it really?
So cheap.
And that would cover that?
Let me look, renters.
Yeah, it would. Yes.
Of course it would. Cover every bit of that. As long as it, yeah, 4,000, no doubt.
Right now it's 78 degrees.
There's a deductible.
With your traffic and weather.
Coverage is from big ones, $20 a
Know
month.
how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates.
Yeah, I thought renter's insurance.
Here's some for
covers
$14
your stuff in there, but it covers the apartment.
Oh, it's liability too.
Okay.
And your stuff, whatever you buy.
Okay.
Covers the other people's. Let's talk about addicts in your life. I'm not
talking about addicts up in the attic. I'm talking about addicts. You know, really seriously, we have a serious problem with pain meds right now. There are so many people strung out on pain meds. There are other people who have problems with meth, cocaine, and of course, good old alcohol. The Raleigh House is someone we recommend. The Raleigh House is a rehab center filled with loving, caring staff, multiple locations. And what I really love is this phone number. Listen, obviously, they would love to help you with having some of the services. They want you to take advantage of it. But if you're an addict, you're not inclined to call. We understand that too. But loved ones, if you have someone you know who is an addict, the RaleighHouse.com can help you talk to them. I'll give you this phone number. They have people standing by that can help you talk to your addict. They'll also tell you what's associated with rehab and the way they do it. Whole body rehab, medical including blood work and nutrition and supplements, and then the environmental part, the psychological part, the individual and group sessions, and it's all done in a residency program for 90 days. They can tell you what it costs and what the insurance will pay, and they'll help you process it all. Or if you just want to talk and find out, how do I approach the subject, they can help you there. That's the Raleigh House. We visited there and talked to the owner and then talked to the staff, And I'll tell you, we feel very comfortable recommending the RaleighHouse.com. Raleigh, as in Raleigh, North Carolina. They are in Denver, but that's the name. They started on Raleigh Street many years ago. 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559.
How do you make sure you get the lowest rates for either a refinance or purchase, or getting the right loan for you and not the one they want to sell you? Take AIM, Affordable Interest Mortgage, 720-895-0500. We have been offering our low rates since 2001. Loan programs to eliminate mortgages.
No. If you have a fire, Dan, well, I can't say they absolutely do, but if you get that insurance, yes, you do. You can. That's why people get it. So if you damage the kitchen with a fire, or if the water damages, you can get that covered.
Having to restart your term.
I had it.
I had the fucking policy. I'll tell you right now.
It says what may cover, it says what's typically not.
I had the same thing that lady did. We had an apartment.
Most people don't.
Our washer leaked. It fucking went right through the ceiling to the people under. The insurance covered everything we had.
So why would she just be in charge of the deductible for the apartment complex? Because the apartment complex is going to have insurance, right?
They're not going to have insurance that's going to be against their...
Well,
plus probably their policy, their deductible could easily be $5 grand.
Oh, you think
more.
it could be $5 grand?
But technically, they are responsible. The insurance company is probably the one coming after her. Most of the time, the landlord doesn't come after her. Most of the time, the insurance company does.
I don't know for only $4 grand.
Yeah, but I'm saying if it's more. Yeah. Most of the cases we've gotten, it's either the other renter policies or the landlord, their policy coming after them.
So I can see 5,000 usually.
The airwaves, Orange and Blue Radio at AM 760. This is John Elway. Elway, you're what? Terrell Davis. There he is, Terrell Davis. This is Shannon Sharp. Yes, sir. The all-new Orange and Blue Radio at AM 760.
These lights make it so much better. It's so much clearer. The video.
Oh, it's the lights.
I mean, it really does.
I like the buzzing.
The
flashing.
It adds a little to it.
Hey, Tom Martino here. Welcome. Let's talk. I want to get right to the phones. Patrick hung up. I'm sorry about that. I wanted to help him. Let's talk to Randy. He has a question about PMI, private mortgage insurance as well. It's a very complicated topic, really. What's going on, Randy?
Hey, Tom. I have a loan I got through Ideal Home Loans.
Yes.
And it has a PMI on it.
Yeah.
It's a 20-year loan. It lasts for 10 years and then drops off.
Or if your house went up in value.
Well, I know it did.
Well, then you can refi, and you can. When did you take the loan out with Ideal?
About a year ago.
Okay. Did rates go down since you took out your loan?
Yeah, I got like a 3.75 is what I'm on right now.
I think you can drop it off the loan he has now. You don't even got to refi if you can prove to the lender, not Ideal, but whoever you're paying those payments to.
No, but if, in fact, the rates went down, they didn't go down from what you had. You have 3.7. They didn't go down.
No, I mean that was my rate.
Yeah, if it went down, Ideal will refinance you free of charge. So all you'd have to pay is your normal stuff, taxes and stuff. But here's the deal, however. On this deal, if you do have a change that could drop off that PMI, Ideal can help you ask the lender to drop it. But most of the time, it requires a refi to do that.
Yeah, I didn't want to go through a refi. We got a loan that we really like, but
if the rate gets close, the reason a refi could work is because how much a month is your PMI? Do you know?
It's about probably $120, something like that.
Okay. So if you do the math, obviously, that's when you'd figure out whether dropping that would be worth the refi, even if rates stay the same or go a little lower. But I would leave it like it is right now. Do you think your home went up that quickly?
Yeah, because we finished right after that. We finished the basement, put in another bathroom.
Well, you might now. Mark's right about that. If you actually put hard cash into the house, That always counts.
You're going to end up paying for an appraisal, but you got to use one that your lender's going to pick out. So you just got to call up your lender and ask them, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm setting at like 217. The house is on Zillow, which I know usually runs high, but it's showing 305. So
What is? Who is?
Gotta be in the 290.
Okay, who is your actual lender? I know that Ideal.
Caliber.
Huh?
Caliber.
Okay. Ideal sold it to Caliber, so call Caliber.
Right. And just ask them.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if you have receipts for cash. That they love when cash is put into a home, you know, like a basement, you know, more than just the value, but you put money in. That's really important.
Yeah, I done a lot of it. You know, we've done a lot of it ourselves and stuff. So I don't know, we put tons of cash into it.
Just ask them, say, hey, under the Homeowners Protection Act, my mortgage lender, which is whoever you're talking about, is required to cancel your PMI if you get to that 78%.
78%, yeah, I'm sure I'm there. Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, sure. 303-713-TALK. We do have a few minutes for a couple things here and there if you need them. 303-713-8255. Now, on the topic of Lucinda, we are still working on that one. And where does it stand right now? The Douglas County, let me just tell people what it is. Lucinda was charged with having a dangerous dog. Somehow in the plea agreement, they had her sign something that was inaccurate. Okay? And in the plea agreement, it said she could keep her dog, she could do this, she could do that. All she has to do are these stipulations. She did them all. The judge signed off on it, and that was it. Then, in the restitution hearing, another judge said, wait a minute, we need to change this plea. It's done wrong. We need to do it right, and we need you to plead to something else, and we need to change everything, and we need to add some stipulations. Well, technically, no. This is a stipulation signed by a judge and by the DA and by her. You can't just take back a court settlement. You can't just take it back. So they're trying to get her to do it voluntarily. But Suzanne, what was wrong with the first one? What are they saying was actually wrong?
Under the first statute or whatever that that she pled to, Tom, her dog was supposed to be euthanized, but in writing it says the people accept to give her dog back.
Is that the only error?
That is the error. So the DA's office is getting back to me, hopefully this afternoon.
The statute was gone.
I thought Joe Lazar...
No, that's the second one.
But no, Joe Lazar said on the first one, too, it was written twice, once right and once wrong. Didn't he say that to us?
No.
I thought so, but maybe not.
He said on one page it's written correctly.
Maybe that's the second one.
Did he
on the second one that they want her to plead to the second time, it's already been repealed. So I should get a call back today or tomorrow.
Okay, well, we are working on that. I'll tell you what, if you want to change your life, give us a call. If you need the help, we'll do it. 303-713-TALK is that number. And when we're off the air, it's 303-MARTINO. 303-MARTINO. Save all your problems for me.
You have the car one, right? That's a trip.
Healthy cereal for your family.
I don't know what to make of that one. It's so above my pay grade. I'm thinking about the judge thing. It's crazy.
Then it's time to make the switch to grain-berry cereal.
What is
amazing onyx sorghum?
The whole judge thing. And then the second guy calling in saying if they know something's wrong, they really got to fix it. That's part of, upholding the laws. When you fuck up, you got to fix it.
It says if you have an FHA loan, expect to keep on your PMI for at least 5 years and until your LTV is less than 70 days.
It's not. This has nothing to do with 5 years. You just got to prove it.
It says if you have an FHA loan.
Yeah. Go ahead. Keep reading.
Expect to keep paying for at least.
Because the average, when you look at a house, would take 5 years to drop.
It says and. It says,
but it says expect.
Yeah, that's right.
What I just read basically says if you can prove to